Hey everybody, welcome to the Team Relentless call, and we have 3 guest speakers on here that all come from Diesel Nation, which is the team that I'm part of. In February of 2012, I became a coach on Diesel Nation when I accepted my coach Becky's invitation to become a coach. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I didn't have any goals set, but over the last 3 years, I have learned to set really big goals, and I've been able to achieve almost all of them as I went on my journey. And a lot of people on my team, outside of the team, or people who I've talked to about coaching really have a hard time managing their roles as parents, spouse, employee, and then managing their business. And I've had a lot of people who have given birth or are pregnant now on my team since, in the last about year and a half. And I've watched some people get frustrated. I've had people, not be able to hit their goals because of everything that's going on, the new changes in their life. And I've seen other people, in the organization be able to manage their business and manage, the transition from, life before pregnancy, all the things that come with pregnancy, the hormones, the fatigue, the nausea, all these different things, preparing for a baby, finances, and then delivering a new baby and, managing, getting yourself into a routine, and the sleepless nights and the teething. And there are 3 people that have really, stuck out in my mind, and I've watched them, move their business forward and be relentless, in their actions towards getting to their goals and managing their teams and advancing the rank, hitting their financial goals, managing to, juggle these roles pretty well. And there are highs and lows in this business, but I thought I'd have them get on the call so that they could share this, because if you're a coach who's struggling and, maybe you don't even have small children, but you have multiple children and you're trying to figure out how to balance it, it's so great to get feedback from other people, because, sometimes we go through the motions and we're stuck in a life where everything's the same, and we, don't think outside the box because we're only used to certain things. So it's nice to get feedback from other people, because, I found that being in groups, whether it's a coach group or challenge group, people say things and you're like, oh, aha, that makes sense. Never thought about that. Let me try it out. So if you're struggling, I hope that you're on this call, and I hope that you take some notes and apply some of these things that these ladies are going to be sharing with you on how they manage to do this, and try it out for yourself. And everybody's life, there are no 2 people whose lives are the same, and everybody has different struggles and children. But try it out and see how it works for you. The biggest thing is that I'm going to mute Melissa. Melissa, can you mute yourself? I'll mute her. Sorry, Melissa is juggling her at baseball games, and so anyways, she's on her phone. Anyways, I wanted to, I want you to be open to this, because this business is something that can really provide, awesome opportunities and freedom for you and your family, and better quality time and better deep relationships. So I want you to learn how to balance this out. I posted in the event invite some, tips that I had today on how to, manage your time better. And so hopefully they'll, hint upon that. I don't really have a script for them. I just wanted them to share their story. For me, people always say, I hear this all the time, well, you do this full time, you have more time. I want everybody to remember, and if you don't know my story, I worked full time. I had 3 children. Rebel was about 15 months old when I became a coach, and I had 2 kids who were in school, and I had a husband who worked 7 days out of town in the oil field, and when he came home, it was only for 2 or 3 days at a time, and most of the time he was on nights and days, and so his schedule was messed up. And so I understand how working parents feel. I've been there, and I worked really hard, and I'm not gonna lie, I tell everybody about this, whether it's you're doing PIO, whether you're starting on as a new coach, whether you're pushing to go get to elite, whether you are pushing to be able to fire your boss like I did after 21 months, it's not easy. There's never an easy part, but the point is, no matter what, anything that challenges you, and it has a goal that is something that is based on you and your family, and you're all working together, at the end it'll be worth it. I still work hard. This is not easy still. I work long hours. I work, individually with people, and I do everything personally. I don't have an assistant, and it is hard, but I love what I do, and I love that I have these connections with these ladies. I love that I've helped so many people reach their weight and health and fitness and financial goals and believe in themselves. And, I've given somebody a place to belong, and that was something that was really important to me because that's what Team Beachbody and the community within Team Beachbody has given me. So I had to juggle this, and I worked hard, and there were times, I'm not going to lie, I thought I was going to have an anxiety attack. I was tired, I was exhausted. There's times where I would work hard for days at a time, and then I would just, take a weekend off and, unplug, drink, hang out with friends, and then get my head back in the game. As a coach, you don't have to be perfect. As a coach, you have to expect these highs and lows. You're going to have, anxiety here and there. You're going to have, a sense of overwhelming, pressure on you. And so I don't want to make this sound like this is easy, but I will tell you it's worth it. I got to spend the summer with my children for the first time after being a mom for 15 years. Being a mom, and I actually felt like a mom. I actually felt like I deserved to wear that title as a mom, and we created great memories, and it preserved my relationship with them at a very crucial point in my children's life, and a lot of things came up, from the past with family and death and different things. I was able to be there for my family. I'm able to spend time with them. I work 4 days a week during the summer, and I managed to, not see a lull in my business, and so anyways, the biggest thing is I'm very honest with people. It wasn't easy, but it's worth it. And now I have financial freedom. And, one thing that I tell people is that I turned a $205 challenge back that when I signed up with P90X and Shakeology and turned it into, over $250 revenue in 3 years. And I get to spend time with my kids more than anything, and I'm connected to so many people. So this is the same thing that can happen for you if you're willing to put in the work. It's not easy, but it's worth it. So the first person that we have is Jamie, and I think she's been a coach around the same time as me because I remember we both started. Christina Delgado, who is my coach's sister, is her sponsor. She is also a 2014 Elite Coach. She is a 5-star Diamond, and she has 2 children. And she had 3, I think you have to tell the ages, but one's 1, one's 4. But I remember whenever she had a toddler, and I watched him grow up, and then had another baby. It was just crazy. And she has branded herself on her fan page, and she's an amazing asset to our team. And so I know that this is something that other people out there are dealing with: a toddler, pregnant, or a toddler and an infant. And she was telling me earlier that her husband was out of town for 3 weeks. He came home, he's gone again. And so these are the things that I know other people deal with. And so, she's going to talk about how she can juggle it. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Jamie.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mindy? Yes. Okay, so okay,
yes,
good.
Again. Yes.
So thank you guys so much, because I feel like I have a story that I like to share a lot, because I'm one of those coaches that I did start at the same time as Mindy, and I'm not even going to lie, I was very jealous of her because she skyrocketed and she was just such a rock star. And I signed 2 coaches my first year, one of which was my husband and one of which was my best girlfriend for Shakeology discount. So I really was behind the curve. And my first year as a coach, I was all about my transformation. And I feel like it was a very selfish year for me because I got in the best shape of my life, and I was all about showing my results. And it was very me-focused. And I don't think I had learned yet how to be a good coach and how to help my challengers and help my coaches because, well, one, I didn't have any. But, I didn't keep long-term challengers. I just wasn't doing anything long-term. And that's going to be the big focus that I talk about tonight is coaching short-term and coaching long-term. So the first year and a half, I would say, of my business, every single month was focused on short-term and focused on what can I do to sell a challenge pack this month. I didn't look to the next month. I just wanted to hit my SC5 and get on to the next month. And the minute I found out I was pregnant, I was, I think, maybe a coach for about a year and 3 or 4 months, and I knew I had to do something different. So I sat down, and if anybody hears me speak, I'm big on formulas or just having a written out list to give to someone else and say, this is what I did, and this is what you can do too. So I, in my head, needed to figure out a formula. What am I going to do? How am I going to increase my exposure? How am I going to meet more people? Because I had dried up. I had no customers, none. I wasn't signing new coaches. I had nothing, but I knew in my heart that this had to work. So I had my why. So I finally had a why that was powerful enough to make me figure this out. So, I switched this, went from long-term to short-term, and I will say the very first thing, like actually even before I did all this, is I created Fitness Foodie. So people had started to see my brand, and I had started to get in people's head, but I didn't know how to increase that. So now I'm going to get out a pen because I'm going to go through a list, literally in order. This is what I did, because I felt like, just like in our baby books, every single month they tell us, okay, this is what to expect from your body, and this is what you need to do for your checkup. So I kind of figured it out just like that. Every month of my pregnancy, I had a big thing that I wanted to conquer. So the very first thing I did, and I will tell every single pregnant person that you should do this, is I created a group on Facebook called Clean Pregos. And this group, I started going and finding every person I'd ever met, out in the world, any person I looked up on Facebook saw they were pregnant, and I started inviting them to this group because I felt like, what kind of resource can I give somebody that I didn't have when I was pregnant with my first son? And I'm like, God, if I could just have someone to hold me accountable, or vent or ask a question, anything like that, to have other pregnant people that we can talk to about it at the same time, and form a relationship. So I wasn't looking for a challenge pack sale from these people. Maybe 9 months down the road I was, I was thinking I'll be there in 9 months. So that's when I say long-term focus. I was setting myself up for success 6 to 9 months from now. So I created my Clean Pregos group. I created a group called Hot Moms, and I do this. This is my paying challenge. So Clean Pregos is my free group, and my paying challenge is Hot Moms, and I start this every 12 weeks. We have a stat sheet from Google Drive. They had to put their stats in every Saturday, and we form a bond. We complain, we bitch, we talk about mother stuff. We talk about if we got our workout in that day. We share videos of the kids crawling all over us, and it's a ton of fun. And I do a point systems where every 4 weeks, based on how many people posted in the group, they could win a tank top. I do just fun stuff like that. But the basic point is, when people come out of the Clean Pregos, because everyone was at a different phase in their pregnancy, we have a next step for them, and we're there, and we've been forming a relationship without asking them to buy anything. And I'm right there with them, showing them my big old belly. So now I have a next step, which is Hot Moms. So I keep those rotating still to today. And, we even joke on our team, we should rename ourselves Prego Fire, because we've signed so many pregnant coaches because they come into Clean Pregos and they see what we're doing and they want to become a part of it. Even if they might not be able to, be able to do all the crazy workouts yet, they want to be part of our culture because they see how much fun we have together. All right, so that is first. Create your Clean Pregos group, or whatever you want to call it. The second thing I did on my list was I started a fit club, because again, I was about maximizing exposure. And I advertised this on Meetup. I signed coaches from this. It was fun. Even if it was just coaches on our team who showed up for the fit club, we got out and we got new people there. We got new customers, and it was fun. And it was fun to show my big old belly at the fit club and not be like, oh, I can't start a fit club because I'm 3 or 4 months pregnant, Number 3, this is vital, vital, vital. You need to start a blog. Blogger, Blogspot, WordPress. Go somewhere and start a blog, because permanent social media is something that I think is invaluable, and then you can pull up anytime after that. When anybody asks you a question, you can direct them to that permanent blog that you already posted on that. And you want to bring people along on this journey. You want to show them that you're relatable and you're real, and that they probably are going through the exact same thing as you. So blog your journey, blog when you've eaten bad, maybe pregnancy craving blog, whatever it may be, bring them along in your journey. And I was very heavy on blogging and documenting myself toward the end of it, because I wanted in my blog to show what I looked like at the end of my pregnancy, to have that proof almost, because I was actually super excited to show my after. I was so excited to be able to have another before and after and show that these products work. So number 3, that's create your blog. Number 4, I created a YouTube channel. So again, I love visual. Mindy's the queen of the YouTube channel. Visual is so powerful, because you can go back through my videos and see me puffy faced and showing and talking about being pregnant, and you can see, and I show my big old belly, and it's just more proof, and people again can follow that journey, and 3 months later see, oh wow, she really did it. She really used Beachbody products to get back to where she said she was gonna. Number 5 is create a newsletter. So I tell people, when you're pregnant, and the place that when I did the newsletter, I was getting toward that part of pregnancy where I couldn't really work out much anymore. I had a rough third trimester. So from about month 6, 7 on, I really couldn't do much. So I took that time to do the grunt work that we don't like to sit down and do when we're busy running after kids, when we're trying to get our workout in and all that stuff, which I knew would come again after the baby came. I took this time to do all the things that were just the tedious, things that really take some time. So MailChimp.com is amazing. You can do a free newsletter, and I exported all of my contacts and emails from Beachbody's website. So now I had all these people that I could send a monthly, just value-only newsletter to, maybe who were a free customer at one point, never responded to my email, whatever it may be. But I still keep these people in my newsletter, and I'm still to this day selling challenge packs of people that maybe Beachbody gave me as a free lead 2 or 3 years ago. So that's been a great tool to have, just to send. I send out a Christmas newsletter, just, with my card in to everybody, just another exposure, because Facebook always scares me, because you can put a great post out there and maybe like 10 or 20 people will see it that you really needed to see it. But if I send an email with maybe my upcoming challenge groups, a recipe, and like a blog post about coconut oil or something, whatever I've recently written about, I know they've seen it. So I know they saw it. So that's why I really like newsletters. And again, it's free. I like free. The next big thing I conquered after my newsletter was my website. And I did mine on WordPress. Doesn't mean it's the best. It's just that's the one I went with. I did a free one, and I really liked it. I liked having a place to have my voice and have my own stuff and not send them really to the Beachbody website as who I am, because Beachbody website is not me. So again, like Mindy, I know talks about too, and she's big on this too, is we both branded ourselves, and I wanted my website to be me. So it's my favorite colors, it's all that kind of stuff. So that was my big project, and I knew I had a deadline. This baby was coming, and if I didn't get this done on my structured stuff, I was not gonna, take time away from my brand new baby. I was gonna get this done, and that was just the ultimate, keep me on task. And really, I like systems. I wanted everything to be on a system so that the minute that baby came and I had 2 babies to take care of, it was just like running so smooth. All right, so next, I got my website done. Number 7, create your own videos. Use your voice. I created my own Coach Expo. Well, I call it an expo. At that point, we called it a sneak peek. I created that. I created a whole coach training off of Christina's and combined it with some others. So I had all these others that all I had to do now in the morning was just pop them in and plug them in. And it's just boom, boom, boom. All that stuff's done. Now I can just tweak it. Now to this day, I just tweak it. Let me see, number 8. I created a system within my team. So again, when that baby came, and to this day, with 2 kids, and I've been by myself for almost a month now, my team is on autopilot. First Monday of every month, Coach Expo, 3 days. Second Monday, coach training, because we take everybody who signed from the expo, they start with the coach training. Third Monday, free clean eating group for 7 days. Fourth Monday, challenge groups start. So they know what to expect. So every single month, I don't even have to tell them anymore. They just ask to be added into it, which is great, because the new coaches coming in, they know, oh, we got an expo, I know to add, and it just makes it easy for them. Also, another big thing, sorry, there's a bug in here if you see me waving my arm. I did a free challenge every single month that I was pregnant, and I did it based on something that I could do. So maybe one month was tricep dips, and the next month was planks. The next month maybe bicep curls or push-ups, because even as pregnant as I was at 8 months, I think I was doing them like against the wall. So don't think you can't do this, or that having a baby in your belly is an excuse whatsoever. Like for me, I actually was 100 times more productive when I was pregnant, because 1, I wasn't drinking. 2, I couldn't sleep. So I worked every single night from 3 to 5, and I got a lot done. I would make all these posts, auto schedule them out for 2 weeks, and it was great. But I think I sold more with a chubby face and a big old baby in my belly than I ever did when I had abs. And still to this day, I don't have abs, so I don't think that's a prerequisite to be a coach. And I will say I loved having that baby kick me in the belly, because every time I was working and I felt that, I just went, oh, I got to do this. I've got to do this. So now fast forward, I did My husband lost his job when I was 8 months pregnant, so I had been planning on becoming a full-time coach right after my maternity leave, but because that happened, I did have to go back to work for 3 months, but this business just took off for me. So I started my pregnancy as an emerald, and by the time I gave birth, I had 3 lifetime diamonds under me on one leg. So we had grown it by the time Brooklyn was 6 months, that I could come home. And that was amazing. And I do want to rewind just real quick to my maternity leave, because I tell everybody when they're pregnant, they're going, oh, I don't know if I should sign as a coach. I've got this maternity leave. I'm like, that is the perfect time, because you're about to show your journey. You can document it from day one. They'll see you at your biggest and see you're still inspiring people, and you're not going to have any type of excuses. And you have maternity leave. To me, I had a lot of time to get work done. That baby sleeps a lot. You forget how much they sleep. So, I showed me taking her to the park. I showed her as my little assistant, sleeping next to me in the morning. And it gave me a sense of purpose that I didn't have when I had Grayson. And I got into a really bad depression my first maternity leave because everything was baby. And I went from being this super social person out in the world every day to 100% baby and what is his needs, 24 hours a day. But Beachbody the second time made me refocus and have still like a purpose while maternity leave. I wasn't just his mom and, boobs, I was, there to still keep inspiring people and check on my challengers. And the day after I got home from the hospital, I was so excited to read all their messages and see how they were doing. So it kept me fired up. It kept my mood just awesome the whole time. So, and I do have a note that I keep on my Facebook page about that because I think it's such an important point. And let me see if there's anything else I missed. No, I will just say I think you should get pregnant and be a coach because I think it's really good for your business.
I have one question that I kind of like all of you, if you have something you can share for tips, but 2 questions I have for all of you is, number one, what made you decide at that moment that you peed on that stick and was like, I'm pregnant, to declare that this business was something that you were not going to treat as a hobby but as a business? And also, how did you get your kids in a schedule? Because we all know, if anybody who's a parent, it is true that first 2 months they sleep 18 hours a day, if not more. So you have that time, but whenever they get through the teething and the sleepless night, how have you kept your kids on a schedule so that you could still work the business? Because it's harder with small kids. I remember that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I think because I worked in the wine industry and it was an alcohol-driven industry, the first baby I could still do it, but it was really tough and I hated it. I hated having to work so many hours, so many nights, and I wasn't getting paid well at all. And to have to hire a sitter, every time at night because my husband was traveling so much, that I think that second baby I just went, I'm not going to miss it this time. I've missed it. I completely missed it. And I don't care. I can find another wine job if this doesn't work out, but I've got to give it a shot. And I just don't want to miss it. That feeling, and you know it. It's like I'm just missing everything. And I literally was running frantic in the morning to get them to school. And we get home, and then I'm frantically feeding them dinner, bath, and putting them to bed. So I was literally just the taxi driver to shuttle them off, and felt like they didn't even know me, And then as far as schedule, I get up an hour before them, and that's either when I do my power hour or I get my workout in. And then Brooklyn takes 2 hour and a half to 2 hour naps a day, and that's when I do a lot of work. And I've really trained her to just chill out while I work out now if I haven't gotten done earlier, so that I don't have to waste sleep time on working out, because I feel like her sleeping in that quiet time is so important to building my business, not working out. So I kind of just put a bunch of toys there and I work out with her. She crawls around me if need be, but you just really got to take advantage. And if that baby's sleeping and you have quiet time, you go do your power stuff, you go get what you're getting done, and you don't look at Facebook. You get your stuff done, and you do your messages, you do whatever you need to do. So that's what I did.
Well, thank you, Jamie. Those were super helpful tips. And honestly, this call was kind of geared towards people who have small children, are pregnant. But these tips were great, and you're very organized. I'm not organized, and I think a lot of that was. And I will say this, that I tell all my coaches who are pregnant or say, well, how am I going to do this? You know, we try again. And I tell them that pregnancy is not a handicap, because if I was working at the insurance company that I was still at and I got pregnant, I'm not going to quit my job. This is a job, and people need to understand that, yes, some people do coaching as a hobby and it's a part-time thing, and you have that chance because we're the CEO of our own business. But the thing is, when you see it as a hobby, you see it as something you can quit. This was something that I'm like, this is a job to me, so I'm not going to let it down. Just like whenever I was pregnant with my 3 kids, you know, I wasn't a coach then. When I got pregnant, there was never a choice that, oh, am I going to quit this because I'm pregnant? And so this is not a handicap. But the thing is that you have, you know, I think that a lot of it is I wasn't as organized because of the fact that I was trying to I guess, manage a lot. So I think that pregnancy is, just like you said, you have less distractions because you're probably not as social. There's the times where there are the sleepless nights, and you used your time productively, which you still do now with a 1-year-old child and a toddler. And then you had all this downtime, you know, and drinking, I will say, I will say drinking is my #1 biggest distraction as a coach. So I think that you're right. Not that I'm telling everybody to go get knocked up and, you know, you have 9 months to work their business, but I do think that that did give you that time to get right, because, like I said, trying to manage everything and the social life and everything was very hard, and I didn't get to do this. So then 2 years into my coaching, whenever I was home full time, I was trying to reset up, you know, systems in place. So, you know, I do think that kind of is a blessing. And it's whatever way you look at it. I'm not going to tell people that because you aren't pregnant and don't have that downtime and you work full time that you're doomed, you can't be successful. Some people might take it that way. But, you know, it's all about finding the silver lining. But one thing that I want to, you know, highlight to anybody who's watching this now or the recording is that, you know, you have a schedule in place. You get up an hour before your kids because this is a business. It's important to you, and you utilize nap time to your, you know, best ability so that you work this business. So that it's not that you do whatever you're doing and then if you have time, you squeeze it in. And the most successful out there, pregnant, not pregnant, kids, no kids, the ones that see this as a business and don't squeeze Beachbody into life but make it part of the routine, they're the ones who do well because they're consistent at it. They have a system in place. They have a schedule. They are doing this, you know, routinely, and people see it. It's not just that, oh, whenever I'm not busy, I'll do this, and it's, you know, it could be twice a week, and the next week it could be every day a week. People see, you know, consistency, and, you know, people always ask me, well, how did you do it as a kid? You know, Rebel was 15 months old. Ryan started doing Body Beast, and I remember we were trying to work out together. Rebel was jumping all over. We hit him in the head with a weight. He wasn't injured, but I mean, it was stuff like that. But the thing is, I'm a real stick about schedules and consistency with my kids. If I say don't do something or this is going to be done, this is the way it's done every time. So if you build Beachbody into your life for your family and your schedule, your kids are going to follow suit. Whatever you do, your kids are going to follow suit. If you let them climb all over the counters, you let them get it out of bed all hours of the night, you let them dig in the pantry and eat whenever they want to, they're going to do that. If you set up a schedule, they know that. And so now Rebel, you know, he comes in here. I was on a call with, I don't think you were on it, was Monica and Danielle McKean and Christina and somebody else the other day. Rebel comes into my office because he stayed home that day on spring break. He's over there exercising with resistance band. He has weights, 15-pound weights. He's picking them up. I'm doing a video because this is his life. My stepson signed a coach for me. They live in San Antonio because this is our life. We don't make this a hobby. This is our life, and it's not that Beachbody is more important than, but Beachbody is our life and is what has given us all of this. And so I think more people, whether they're kids or not, if they accept this as part of their life, it doesn't mean that nothing else is important, but this is what makes them, they're going to be successful. And when you have that passion, when it's evident in your life and your children are part of it, you're going to be successful. The people who, I don't know, cut their family and their spouses out of this and they're doing it solo, people in the outside world definitely see that husbands are on board, wives are not on board, children are not on board, and they're feeding their kids McDonald's every day and they're eating healthy. People don't want that type of coach. You don't have to be perfect, but it makes a big difference. So I think that the consistency in your business and you using your time productively and not getting distracted with, you know, like you said, Facebook or anything, you respect your system that helped, and even having that system for your team, it was that whenever you had lulls where maybe you weren't as able to be as active, you know, as a new mom, they knew what to expect and they were with it. And so I want to highlight that for everybody. So thank you for getting on. I know that you're flying solo tonight, so if you got to jump off, that's why I put you first on. But I really appreciate your tips. They're very clear and concise. So thank you again. Monica, you are next.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
There you go. Oh, are you there? You there? Can you hear me, Monica?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, your face. Oh, there you are.
Sorry about that. I don't know what I clicked. Okay, so you can hear me okay, right? Okay. So Mindy didn't lie when she said that she did not give us any kind of script about this call. She kind of gave us free reign to talk about whatever we felt was important. Jamie covered a lot of the things that I had on my list to talk about. So I think more than anything, I want to share my story. And I think that that is going to be super impactful because I think a lot of people, a lot of women out there will connect with it in one way or another. And we all know our story is like the most powerful thing that we've got. So I want to just share with you that I have 3 children. I have Jason that's 8, Jackson that's 4, and Mia 2 years old. I've been a coach for about 3.5 years now. And I was not, and don't kill me, Mindy, but I was not as productive as I could have been while I was pregnant. But there was something really magical about the fact that I maintained my business while being pregnant. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that now. But I can tell you that my first pregnancy, I was 21 years old. So as soon as I was legally able to drink, I got knocked up. I had my first child very young, and let me tell you, I was like couch ridden. I would go to school part-time, and then I would come home and literally sit in front of the couch and just vegetate. I wasn't into fitness. I was 115 pounds, without even really trying. And then here came this pregnancy that threw me for a whirlwind. I gained about 68 pounds in my first pregnancy, and I had my first son, obviously very young. And I can tell you that postpartum was out of control after having my first son. I went into deep depressions. I was 22 by the time I gave birth to him. And here are all my friends at the time, 22 years old, out, that's where their prime time. They're going out clubbing, and they're fitting into these little itty-bitty outfits. And here I was, 60 pounds overweight, with a newborn that was colicky, and that had reflux, that cried and cried and cried, like, all the biggest nightmares that you can think of as a mom, and especially a first-time young mom, happened to me. Deep depression. It took me a long time, I would say about almost 2 years, to get the weight off, to start to feel like myself again. I started getting into spinning at that time, trying to just dabbling into fitness, but nothing really concrete. Then came my second son, and again, I was into spinning, so I was a little bit more active, and that pregnancy didn't go as bad. Then I was given P90X to try out, okay? And my second son at the time, was about 6 months old when I did that program. And it was super crazy because I did it. Those programs are 90 days long, and I did the program in its entirety, and I got such amazing results. That's what kickstarted my Beachbody business. And I signed up as a coach. I started, talking about it. And actually, I was an undercover coach for a while. I was just trying to, like Jamie talked about, was really selfishly just working on myself, trying to feel better. I was about 24, 25 at the time. I just wanted to feel my age. I just wanted to look my age. All the meanwhile, working as a legal assistant, about an hour and a half commute from my house, and raising my first, my 2 boys. I picked up P90X, got amazing results, and that's when things started to happen, where people started asking me about what I was doing. Christina Delgado, which is my mentor in the business, told me, you should become a coach. I signed up, kind of laid low for a while, and it's so funny that when she finally convinced me to run my very first challenge group, I put it out there. I got about like 4 women to join me to do this amazing challenge, and then I got pregnant again. And I had to start. I feel like every time I got pregnant, it was like starting all over again. But But the last pregnancy was really different. It was really different because now I had this business on my lap. I had started something. I had started a challenge group. It was in its first week when I peed on the stick and it was positive. And I knew that I had a responsibility to the people, the 4 women that bought from me, that I had a responsibility to keep going. And so I did. I can tell you that throughout my entire pregnancy, the last pregnancy, while being a Beachbody coach, I don't think that I really built my business where it, blew it out of the water, but I know for a fact I laid a firm foundation for the success that I had to come afterwards. And what I mean by that is that I never let my fitness go. I never stopped posting about it. I never stopped putting videos. I never stopped sharing the true and real struggles. So I didn't sugarcoat things. I mean, I put myself out there with a big old belly, like Jamie was saying, the bloated face, the big old belly, working out. I put out tons of videos, and I never stopped doing me, and I never stopped being a product of the product, even throughout my pregnancy. I never let it limit me. Even when I was feeling tired, or I was feeling down, or I just, I was exhausted, I shared about it. And I think that's the number one, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is be real. Be real with your struggle. Be real with what's going on. So I made sure that I effectively did this, and I actually, I would get tons of questions from moms out there, private messaging me to asking me about what workouts worked for me and how I was doing and all this good stuff. So like I said, I didn't really blow my business out of the water while I was pregnant, but it set me up for the success I had afterwards, because what happened to me was as soon as my daughter turned 3 months old, and I was set to go back to work, because I never had intentions of going full-time in the business. I was ready to go back to work and do my thing, and continue to be a working mom like I've been all my life, since I've had my son at 21. I got the sudden news that my daughter had what's called a hemangioma. And hemangioma is a blood tumor. A lot of children get these. It usually goes away. They grow rapidly, so it's a tumor that every time they cry or they get crazy or upset, this tumor can fill with blood. With the rush of blood that goes to the tumor, it grows. A lot of times children have this superficial on the outside of their body, wherever it is. Well, my daughter had hers in her eye, and actually like right here in her eye. And the problem with her hemangioma was that as any time it started to grow and fill with blood, it was literally pushing her eye out of her socket. She was at risk of being blind. She was at risk of having, we couldn't operate because all of her eye muscles were intertwined in this tumor. And it was something where I had to see a specialist at Miami Children's Hospital. At first it was every 3 days, and then it went to once a week, and from there it was once a week for, I would say, like about 3 or 4 months straight that she had to see a specialist. And here I am, coming off of maternity leave, going back to my job, getting this news, and I need to be taking my daughter to a specialist once a week. Like, my job was not having it. At first, they were a little cooperative, but as time started to pass, and we were seeing that this was long-term care, it wasn't just something that was going to be resolved quickly. I started running into, kind of bumpy heads with my job. I would start to send my husband by himself with a crying infant. You know how doctor's offices are. You can't just walk in there and see your doctor right away. It takes time to see them. It's waiting room time. And here he is, this poor man with an infant that's screaming, and he loses his mind. And I would get phone calls while I'm sitting behind my computer at my desk at my office, feeling like, I'm sorry, but utter shit, that I should be the one there. There were times where I'd call my mom or my sister and send them on the task to take my daughter. And then it just came to a point where I just stood back and I was like, man, I am just so, I'm so sick and tired of having other people fill my shoes as a mom. Like, this is my job. My daughter was going through something where she needed MRIs done. She had to put, we put down so these MRIs could be done, and I wasn't there. She needed ultrasounds like weekly. This was something that could cause her to lose her vision. And here I am stuck behind a desk in front of a computer working for someone else that could give 3 flying Fs about what's happening to my daughter. And I get it. I mean, everybody has a business to run, but you know what? That was my life. My children are my life, and I needed to be there. And all this hit me like a ton of bricks. to kind of rewind a bit with my first son, I started to feel this feeling, you know, that I needed to do something when he was in kindergarten, which was his first year of school, when my 5-year-old son would come crying to me like, oh, why is it so-and-so's mom comes to lunch bunch and you never show up and you don't want to come to my school? You know, how do you explain to a 5-year-old why mommy can't be there, or mommy has no more time off, or mommy needs to be at work? It was really difficult. It was really difficult. And then I think what built me up in this business was my children behind me wanting to be the mom that I should and needed to be to them, is what fueled me. And so to go back to the situation with Mia and the fact that we were about 4 or 5 months into, you know, postpartum, and I had this issue where she was still under care, the specialist, I made a decision, my husband and I made a decision that I was going to go full-time in this business. And I'm going to be quite honest and extremely transparent here. I was not making the money that I was making at my office job. I was not, you know, I was doing well in the business as a part-time, but it wasn't anything that was going to sustain me. And it's just the fact that my income was half the income in the house. But I knew, that this business had tremendous potential. I knew I was also good at it. I also knew that I loved it. Like, I loved every bit of what I did with Beachbody. Although I always treated it like a hobby, but it was still my baby. And I knew that if I was able to go like full in, that I would make something great happen. And I think it was just a belief that I did it without hesitation, and I quit my job and I decided to go into Beachbody full time. And here we are, fast forward, my daughter's going to, you know, she's 2 years old now, she's doing fine, she's good, everything's good with her eye, but I can tell you that if I would have never sustained that foundation while being pregnant, the ability when life happens, because life happens, you know, we just heard Jamie talk about how her husband lost his job when she was 8 months pregnant, you know, things happen, life happens. You never know the curveball you're going to be thrown. I had no idea the curveball I was going to be thrown. I thought I had this whole mommy thing down. You know, what's a third kid? I was working with 2. I could do it with 3. I didn't realize where life was going to take me and what I was going to need to do. And the fact that this business was something that I was able to fall back on, I was able to land on my feet with and do without a problem, like, that to me was golden. And it would not have happened if I would have fallen off the wagon while being pregnant, and I would have disappeared and never built my business, or at least maintained and sustained it throughout my pregnancy. I never disappeared. I never dropped it and said, I don't feel, and there were days that I didn't feel good. I'm telling you, I think girls give the worst pregnancies, because my boys never made me as sick, but my last one, I was like nauseous almost all 9 months. And I get it that there's maybe days where you wake up, you don't feel like it, but you got to know that there's a bigger reason, you know, and that you're going to get through this, and that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that the one thing that I did do very well, like I said, was share my story along the way. I never held back anything when I was pregnant. I posted about everything. I showed my belly. I showed my workouts. I showed the weight gain. I talked about these things. I did videos. I did all these kinds of things that Jamie, I mean, she gave us amazing ideas to do. I did a lot of those things, and I think it set the tone that once I did give birth and I did bounce back, even with all the personal problems I have, I bounced back faster than ever. I think that it really set the tone for my business, and I made believers. I created believers around me that said, you know what, she's not full of it. You know, these products are the real deal. They work. If she can do it, a mom of 3. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been told that. You're a mom of 3. If you can do it, why can't I? And that, if I was able to effectively instill that in someone else, if I'm effectively instilling it in you right now, then I've done my job. Like, I feel proud of that. I run my business thinking about that all the time. Like, I want to inspire others. Like, if I can spend this spring break home now with my kids, you know, enjoying the pool that we just built for them, and like, it's crazy to me to be spending a spring break, you know, in the pool with them every day. If I can do this, anybody can. Anybody can. Whether you're pregnant, you're not pregnant, you got one kid or you got 5. It's possible. I think the biggest thing is that it takes vision. It takes belief. It takes waking up every day, and we're on Team Relentless call. I think that's the perfect word for it. Being relentless in your pursuit, being relentless in what you're going after, and not giving up. Knowing that what you may feel today, the discomfort you may feel, the tiredness you may feel, all that, it's gonna pass. And if you just stay the way, stay in the road and not fall off, magical things can happen afterwards. So, Jamie went over a lot of things that you could use with your business. Some amazing tools, like she talked about the like page, newsletters, websites, blogs, videos, all those kinds of things. She stole a lot of the things that I was going to share with you. But if there's one thing that I can, give to you, is the inspiration to not give up, to not walk away, and to just believe that this business, whatever it is that you're searching for, whether it's you're searching for an extra income or you're actually searching to be home with your children, it is possible. It is possible, and I am one of the moms out there that used to work full-time, taking 2-hour commutes, leaving my children in daycare all day long, getting home, rushing to cook, and the hamster wheel, I call it, like the hamster wheel mom, where you're always, I don't know, think about it, how many times do you tell your kids a day, hurry up, we're late, hurry up, we're late, hurry up, we're late? Like, I was the hurry up, we're late mom. And I don't have to be that way anymore. And it's really amazing to me. So if there's anything that I can give you tonight, I hope it's the inspiration and motivation to know that anything is possible. But what you do right now counts. It counts for now and it counts for later. So that's what I've got for you.
Thanks, Mo. You did great. I know you might have to get off too because Johan probably wants to go to bed. But those were amazing tips. And, the one thing I want to point out to anybody who's watching is that Monica and Jamie and I, we all started around the same time. I think Monica may be a couple months older as far as her coaching timeline goes. But, we're all elite coaches. So the thing is, again, we are the CEO of our own business. We control the pace that we're at, and we all have different goals, and we all have different mindsets. But here we are. We're all elite coaches together. And, Melissa will be an elite coach with us this year, I know. So it doesn't matter, but staying the course is it. Monica basically maintained her business during the, crucial time of her being pregnant, whereas Jamie was building it then. So everybody's different, but here, we're all equal people. We all have different goals. There's no right or wrong, but what we want to instill in all of you is that there is this opportunity, and it isn't something that just the people that you see on these calls or you see in the leaderboard for Success Club or Elite can do it. You can do it. Everybody has that chance to do it. I have these calls for tips. There are, Tara Cards had her 3rd baby. There's all sorts of coaches that are elite coaches that, 5-star and above who've had babies or are pregnant and they managed to do this. If you see this as a business, you treat it like a business, and and there are times that we just maintain, we maintain our business, but don't give up because this is a huge opportunity. And the thing is, it'd be a real, I just think about people, it'd be a real, ass kicker to look back when you're struggling trying to pay for baby formula, struggling to try to pay for diapers, struggling to get your kid out the door and, get your hair done and get to doctor's appointments. It would be, hard to pill to swallow, but you can't take time off to take your kid to the doctor, because I've been there. All that stuff is there. Melissa and I talked about this before she became a coach. Our kids were sick. We had to rush them to the doctor and get them on antibiotics as soon as they broke fever, because we needed that fever gone. We gave them Motrin to get them through the day back at school, because we were afraid that they were going to call our employer and we'd have to leave and our job would be in jeopardy. There were those times that we just dreaded asking off to go on a field trip, and then, like, for me, my kids stopped telling me about field trips because the same answer, sorry, I can't take off, because I have 5 days off of vacation. 5, and I was basically, I couldn't complain about it because I took a job with those, with that vacation package, Charlie Vacation, and so it was their business, their dream. I was, not a victim, but I was subject to somebody else's rules for me. Now I get to do that, and I'm still one of those people now. I'm like, well, we're going to be late, but nobody's going to yell at us anymore because we ain't got anywhere to be. We are our own people. We need to pick our own schedule. So, yeah, I'm late all the time, but I used to always be on time and running around screaming at everybody. Now we can do whatever the hell we want. So the thing is, I'd hate for you to, if you are a coach who's going to have a baby or is pregnant, I'd hate for you to miss this opportunity and then later on be struggling. Because I remember when Rebel was born, Ryan, sold his part of the business. Things were very tight. I was making $2,200 a month before taxes. Yeah, crunch those numbers. It was difficult. We sacrificed. Our whole family sacrificed. But you know what? Once I became a coach, they sacrificed a little bit more on a different level, and now we're all basking in the glory of being a family. So thank you for sharing that, because that was so important. I think what your message, Monica. And now I turn over to Melissa. She's one of my personally sponsored coaches. She became a coach in February of last year after a whole year of tracking her down to try to get her to become a coach. I hung in there because she wasn't ready, and I was her friend, and I was her friend first. And the first call we had was in January of last year. We cried on the phone together talking about the things I just talked about, and she took the leap right after 21 Day Fix came out. She didn't think she could do it, and she had amazing results. And I'll never forget whenever she was pushing for Diamond, because she'd watched me. She knew the steps. She knew what she wanted. And I remember the call. I remember when I picked up the phone, and she's like, I got some news to tell you. And I knew it. I was like, she had not been feeling good. She's going to go to the doctor. We thought it was thyroid or just, maybe diet. And she told me she was pregnant. And I told Ryan, I'm like, good grief. I'm like, what is this going to mean for her business? And I said, I'm not going to push her. What are you going to do about it? And I was her friend. And by golly, she hit Diamond. Like 2 weeks later, she came to Summit. That's a whole other story that you can watch on another call that she was on. But she is going to be hitting her 2-star Diamond qualification next Thursday. The following Thursday, 3-star qualification. She's shooting for 5-star. She's going to hit it. We're shooting for Summit. She has not let up. She brought Jenna, her baby, to the 3 Vital Behaviors training on the 28th of last month when I came to California. And she is just my little rock star that I love so much. And so it's her turn to talk and share, what prompted her to keep working this business. And, she's had, I don't know, like 20 rank advancements in her team since this year. So go ahead.
Awesome. Thanks, Mindy. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear? Okay,
yep.
Perfect. So as Mindy said, I joined her after watching her for an entire year and kind of dragging my feet. Really, I was watching and I seen her being consistent. I had really tried everything under the sun to feel better about myself, and I could relate to a lot of the things that Mindy was talking about. And sorry, guys, I'm at baseball. We had 2 games tonight. Sorry. Daddy, go ask Daddy. That's what we can do in this business. We can work from anywhere. So I'm currently working from the baseball field. But I had watched her, and I had watched Mindy talk about wanting to come home to her kids, and that she had put in her notice. One of the things that stuck out to me is that she was constantly replacing a water cooler. And so that's what really intrigued me, is that she went from bitching about a water cooler to coming home to her family, and I wanted that. And having 2 little boys who needed my attention, who weren't getting my attention. At that time, I was working crazy hours, driving 3 hours a day, so an hour and a half each way, to my job, and missing out on baseball games and field trips and all of those things. I figured, okay, I'm going to join her, and what's the worst case scenario? I can cancel, and then I'm done. Well, I had some really great results with the 21 Day Fix, and I swear it's Shakeology makes you have babies. So my advice is, if you are trying to get pregnant and you want to do, invest in Shakeology, because I swear to God, everyone I know, tons of people I know have gotten pregnant after drinking it. So my story is, I was on the IUD. I wasn't planning on having any more kids. Dominico, my husband, and I were going back and forth on who was going to get fixed. And as Mindy said, I went to the doctor, and I told them I thought that I had a thyroid issue and I needed to get tons of tests because I ate clean and I was working out and I was in the best shape that I had been in. And she said, is there any way you could be pregnant? And I told her no, and then she told me, you're pregnant. So I had a decision to make, and I loved the way that I felt about what I was doing in this business. I loved the new family that I transformed. I was on this journey that I was able to share with strangers, and they were welcoming me with open arms without judgment, which was something that I didn't have a lot in my life. I felt like I always had to be someone for someone and never Melissa for myself. And so it hasn't just been about weight loss, but it's been a transformation completely in my life. So I made a decision to stick with coaching and to see where it took me. And soon after, I hit Diamond, and I've just stayed consistent. Like Jamie and Monica were talking about, I shared my journey the entire time. I had mornings where I didn't feel good, and I would post about it. My Shakeology really was what kept me going, I think, for my energy levels. I had some changes at work, and I was asked to come in 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, so I had early mornings with rushing my kids to school. Being on maternity leave has been huge for my business, as Jamie was saying, because this has been a time for me to really focus and get my team where I need it to be, and I'm developing new trainings because I go back to work in a few weeks, and I'm very, very nervous about it. I have a plan in place. Mindy and I talked about it today, and I do this forever. I don't have to leave my kids. I've been really struggling with the fact that my daughter is going to be 3 months old, and she's going to need me, and I'm not going to be there, and that my kids are heavily involved in sports, and I'm going to be running from one place to another. And I know that this is temporary, and I'm going to be able to come home to my kids because of my team and the laser focus that they have and the drive that I'm not going to give up. Like Monica said, showing up to your business every single day, no matter how you feel, talking about your struggle, transformation right now. Thoughts that had run through my head were, how am I going to inspire anyone to lose weight when I'm heavy right now? I don't feel comfortable. But you know what? Because I'm going to show up every single day, I'm going to be consistent, I'm going to continue to show people that this opportunity isn't temporary. This isn't quick fixes. This opportunity changes your lives in more ways than one. So if the advice that I can give you is believe in yourself, don't ever give up, don't believe that being pregnant is a handicap, because it really has helped my business, and it's shown me that I don't have to be out of the house to build a life for my family. I can design that from the comfort of my own home. So, sorry. I'm just a little bit emotional because without Beachbody, this wouldn't be possible. And I know that this is 2-star, 3-star. These are just the first steps in my journey. And I love everyone on our team, and they become family. And I'm just so grateful. So if you're on the fence about doing it, I say go all in and don't stop. Duplicate what the other coaches are doing, because that's all I've done. I have followed Monica, I followed Jamie, I followed Christina, I followed Mindy, Becky, and I've seen what they do and that they show up to their business every single day, and that's all I'm doing. So nothing special about me. Anyone can do it. Just believe in yourself and never give up.
That was awesome. Wow, I mean, like, this right here just shows you the fact that, you know, she's at the baseball building, you hear Jen in the background, one of the kiddos came out and asked something. This is, like, our life. Like, I'm sitting here, like, I mean, I was thinking earlier, I'm like, I put Rebel down in bed, I checked on him, I started this call 15 minutes before we got on, I went and checked on him, make sure he's asleep, I come out here, you know, Brian's fishing. I mean, there's all, you know, these things, like, this is our life. I'm a mess from working out. This is work. Like, this is freaking badass. I mean, if I ever, God, I love my old boss, but I'm saying if I'd have showed up to work, look like this, I would have been sitting home and asked to not come back, you know, and I totally forgot about the water tower thing. There was this big water tower. I was the only one that was strong enough, other than the, like, 4 men that worked there, to do it, and I totally forgot about it. I would bitch about it all the time. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, who cannot change this water thing? And that was like just Oh, it was annoying to me, and I didn't bitch about that. I don't bitch about. You never hear me bitching about my coworkers now, and and there's like 260,000 coaches out there. I'm not complaining about them. I love all of them. So there's so many people out there who are stuck in these jobs that they hate, and I remember, talking to my supervisor every time I asked her one time, can I please take off at 4:45? Ryan's got to go do some work, and I got to take Haley. She's running 102 fever. She had strep throat. This was short, and she said, well, is there anybody else you can call? And I was so freaking pissed. And she was just like, well, when I was younger, the owners of the business, they wouldn't allow us to take off. And blah, 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 blah. She was like, but I was, and I was like, well, I don't have family. She's like, well, I was thankful because my mom did everything. She kept my kids and during summer and stuff. And I was like, well, great. You're almost, you're counting down to age 70, which is like 11 years away to retire, and your kids are grown and your mom raised them. Okay, yeah, she was my inspiration. I bitched about her all the time, and I still get angry when I think about some of the things she said, but I'm like, I would stare at her across the room every day, and I'm like, I'm not going to be counting down to 70 to work at some job, paying somebody else's bills, helping them, build their dream life. Now I am. I'm sitting here like this. My husband just came in from fishing.
Hey, Ryan.
I may have.
This is work, and I love it. So, if you're out there, these tips are amazing, and they go for somebody whether you are pregnant, expecting, wanting to get pregnant, have kids, don't have kids. Consistency, never giving up, going all in within the organization, and getting to know the coaches, following the successful people, and duplicating what they do, but putting a little spin on it and personalizing it. So if you have any other questions, just reach out to any of us. We're all a really big, close, tight-knit family, and we're all here to help. I know I'm going to be messaging Jamie for a little bit more in depth on her system that she had in place, because obviously it's working. But if you do reach out to her, do be patient, because of the fact that she is flying solo with a 1-year-old, 4-year-old while her husband's out of town. One last thing I wanted to say that I keep forgetting to say is that, there's highs and lows and ups and downs with this business. And I remember Melissa, Jesus Christ, we cried together so many times, it's not even funny, but, there's times that we both rescue each other, and, I explained about how it's like, oh God, what is she going to do with this business? Now she's pregnant, but then once, she had Jenna, she was feeling like a big lump, like we all do after a kid. She was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I was like, this is huge for you. You get a brand new do-over transformation, and people got to follow you this whole time, saw you be successful. So don't focus on your weight now. Focus on the fact that you get a brand new before and after. And, that's kind of what Jamie said, is that, she got to her little chubby face, on YouTube, and then slimming down has been amazing. But I mean, and it's a new before and after picture. It's a new part of your journey, and we all have that. So you can look at this pregnancy as a gift or a blessing or a curse, and the demise of your coaching career. It's up to you. It's your choice. You pick. So I hope that you make the best out of it, and please help me, cheer these ladies on as they continue their journey, because they're doing big, big things. So with that being said, the next call that we have is next Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we have my coach, Becky, on, and another coach on Diesel Nation, Wendy Sanchez. They're very, introverted, shy people who have overcome shyness to become, the leaders, and they're also in the top, 1% of the organization, as we are. And so I thought that a lot of people struggle with this, that I'd have them on the call. So if you know anybody who has this, issue that they're struggling with that's inhibiting their business, invite them on. And the thing is, even if you are a person that doesn't mind talking to strangers, a no stranger, get on this call, because you are going to sponsor some coach at some point in time is an introvert, who is shy, who is terrified of talking to other people, and fear of rejection. So learn how to manage these people and help them with their struggles. So and one last thing, in May, our calls are going to be moving to Thursday nights, because it is getting warm here, and we are lake people, and Wednesday is lake night. So keep that and share that with the rest of our team if you have people in your downline who have been tuning in on Wednesday. So have a good night, everybody.